Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for AniPoke Pokemon Master Episode 5, Burn the Squirtle Fire Squad. This was the 1226th episode of the Pokemon anime, and one that had longtime fans feeling pretty nostalgic. I'm not sure if it made Green Tornado feel nostalgic, so I can't really think of a clever way to shout out my favorite channel member this time around. Oh well, on to the episode breakdown. Today's adventure sees our heroes arrive in some random port town, only to be interrupted by some guy's Venonat, which seems totally random, but it will come up again later. They eventually stumble upon a show that's about to start, and hey, wait a second, is that a Cacnea? Okay, this is actually crazy, since this is the first time we have ever seen a Cacnea in the anime that wasn't James's. This was even the subject of the Poke Fact of the Day on May 11th, 2021. That little piece of trivia aside, what's this show even going to be about? Well, Ash and friends see a poster of the Squirtle Squad. Whoa, they did not see that coming, and the narrator gets us caught up on Ash and Squirtle's time together, and that it's actually common for Ash and Squirtle to take part in public community events, but that's not quite what's happening today. Before we get to that, Ash decides to bring out 2 more Pokemon to see the show, and Charizard and Bulbasaur are just as shocked when they see their old friend on the poster. Let's check in with the organizers of this show, and yeah, this is just a scheme by Team Rocket to make a ton of money. I guess this is what they were up to when they weren't in the last episode. Once Ash has taken a trip to the merch stand, it's time for the show to start. And hold on a second, what is going on here? Well, it's not quite the Team Rocket motto. These clowns are actually pretending to be Team Blaze, who are all about starting fires, I guess. Meowth and Wobbuffet aren't part of the show, but they still whispered they're part of the motto too, which made me smile. Something about these guys seems familiar, but the twerps can't quite figure it out. Team Blaze sets fire to part of the stage, and don't worry, the Squirtle Squad is here to save the day, and they are wearing some ridiculous outfits too. They go to work putting out the fires, and Ash's Squirtle is taken out of it for a second when he hears a familiar voice cheering him on. He sees Ash in the crowd and is excited to see him. This pushes the Squirtle Squad on to finish the job, and the once mighty Team Blaze are left begging for mercy. The crowd goes wild for this act, and Team Rocket quickly shift back into promoter mode and get all the kids to line up for meet and greets with the Squirtle Squad. After all the kids get to have their fun meeting their heroes, Team Rocket conveniently cut the session short once Ash and friends make it to the front of the line. Team Rocket tell them that time's up, and the Squirtle Squad have to go back to their hotel way over there. Ash is disappointed, but they understand and walk away. Of course, Squirtle doesn't hear any of this and is just shocked to see his friends walking away without even saying hi. Wow, must be a lonely feeling. Later, at the hotel, the Squirtle Squad are feasting alongside their totally not suspicious managers, but Ash and Squirtle can't stop thinking about Ash and his old buddies, and this feeling is turned to anger. Meowth even catches Squirtle asking, "Am I not your friend anymore?" Elsewhere in the city, that same Venonat from before is run off from its trainer again, this time going into some old warehouse by the sea along with some other Pokemon. Getting back to the hotel, look who's arrived. Ash did come to see Squirtle after all, but Team Rocket did their best to prevent this reunion from happening. They somehow missed Bulbasaur and Charizard sneaking by though, but Squirtle wants no part of these fake friends who didn't even come say hi earlier, and Charizard makes its displeasure known by burning the entire Squirtle Squad to a crisp. Bulbasaur does its best to stop a fight from breaking out, but once Squirtle blasts it with water gun, oh, now it's 2-on-1. Ash tries to break things up, and after getting in the middle of all his Pokemon's attacks, Squirtle is still being stubborn, which Pikachu doesn't take too kindly, and now everyone is down for the count. Bulbasaur and Charizard have had enough, so they storm off, forcing Ash to follow. Left alone once again, Squirtle is feeling pretty conflicted about everything. These guys stop somewhere else to eat, but Charizard and Bulbasaur are still not happy. They do start to reminisce about all the great times they had together back in the day. There's too many flashback scenes for me to show right now, but even if these memories are pleasant ones, it's still not enough for them to drop this attitude they have after what happened earlier. From across the street, Team Rocket tried to take advantage of the situation by catching Ash's Pokemon in a net, but a rather inconvenient gust of wind blows the net off course and onto a Hariyama, who doesn't take too kindly to this and throws Team Rocket as hard as it can, which sends them blasting off again, and more importantly, sending the net onto some busted up pole over by one of the warehouses. It looks like there's some exposed electrical wiring right where the net landed. I'm sure that won't matter though, so let's shift our focus to that Venonat trainer reporting his missing Pokemon to Officer Jenny, and if Officer Jenny is here, you know Brock is springing into action. But he stands no chance as long as Misty and Krogunk are around. Let's check back in on that net, and oh my gosh, it caught fire. Who could have seen this coming? Honestly, it was much more surprising to me seeing another Cacnea. I mean, we went so long without seeing any Cacnea besides James's Cacnea, and now we see 2 others in one episode. Unbelievable. No one else seems to care though. They're all worried about this fire that seems to be growing pretty quickly. We get a great shot of Squirtle back at the hotel. You can see through his sunglasses just enough to tell that he's feeling down, but once some nearby hotel staff mention the fire, oh, here we go. It's time for the Squirtle Squad to spring into action. They arrive on the scene and immediately start trying to put out the fire, while Ash and friends arrive to help as well. Okay, maybe not all of them want to help Squirtle, these 2 are remaining stubborn as ever. Fortunately, Misty has got some water type backup, but all this water still isn't enough to put out the fire. Just a side note, but I think it's cool how you can tell that this is 7 streams of water gun and then 1 hydro pump. That's a nice attention to detail. Ash's Squirtle is struggling to deal with the situation, but once he realizes Ash is still there and still has his back, Squirtle knows it's go time, and the Squirtle squad assume their true firefighting form, and the fire does not stand a chance now. Well, until another rather inconvenient gust of wind comes in from the sea, and this starts to push the flames from one warehouse onto another, and now these bums finally decide to step in and help after they see how everyone is working together. It's great to see this trio back on the same page, but it's less great to see this trio from before trapped by the fire. I mean, they could easily just jump off the side of the warehouse right now. I'm not really sure what stopped them from doing that, but no need to worry. This dream team is coming to the rescue. And again, I don't really know why Charizard couldn't have just flown in all by itself and grabbed them all, but whatever. This is supposed to be the coolest scene of the episode. Let's not let logic get in the way of that. Seeing this great teamwork makes Ash and Pikachu happy, and hold on, those kids in the background seem to have just realized something. More on that later. For now, let's talk about the fire finally going out. It's celebration time until Charizard accidentally blasts everyone with flamethrower. Oops. And of course, guess who was watching all of this? Yep, it's Latias. Wow, I can't believe it just stood on the sidelines and watched this whole thing. Thanks for the help. Just then, another Officer Jenny appears, but not just any Officer Jenny. It's the one who takes care of the Squirtle Squad. I still have no idea how Team Rocket managed to steal the entire Squirtle Squad without any of them realizing there was foul play going on, but when Ash's Squirtle goes to leave, Ash says his usual "let's battle again sometime," and this was too much for Squirtle. He breaks down and rushes into Ash's arms once again. Aw, what a sweet moment. Once the Squirtle Squad takes their leave, a horde of kids are seen running towards the group. These guys are like, oh, they must be after the Squirtle Squad again, but actually, it's World Champion Ash that they're after. This wild mob even gets excited to see Miss Misty and Mr. Brock, which surprises everyone, including me. And with that, the episode comes to an end. Alright, I've got mixed feelings about this episode. On the one hand, the story was really basic. I mean, there was almost nothing to it. We've seen very similar stories done even better in the past. Nothing about this was new or all that exciting. Obviously, the catch is that a lot of fan favorites were spotlighted in this episode, so I'm sure some people absolutely love this episode because of how much they love seeing these familiar faces all back together again. Me personally, I kinda thought this episode was a pretty standard 6 out of 10, but thanks to the added layer of nostalgia and attention to detail, I'm gonna give this episode a 7 out of 10 rating. I don't know if people are going to consider that rating low or high, but like I said, this episode did not really have much going for it other than being a trip down memory lane for people who watch the original series. However, this episode did a pretty great job at being a trip down memory lane, so since it executed that so well, I felt like bumping up my rating to a 7. Even though some of the things in this episode were kinda contrived, what did make sense was the way Ash's Pokemon acted. It's interesting to me that even though Ash has matured a lot over all these years, his Kanto starters haven't been around to go through that same character development, so they're all still holding on to that stubborn streak that Ash definitely had back in the original series as well. Another thing I wanted to mention that probably goes under the radar is the small edits they make to the opening in each episode. It's largely the same every week, but there are some different scenes and Pokemon featured in each one, which always looks cool. Alright, let's talk about the preview for the next episode, and it looks like Pikachu is going to get separated from Ash when it accidentally gets blasted off alongside Team Rocket. I made a point out of saying this last week, but I just don't expect anything big and epic to happen in this mini-series. Instead, I'm really enjoying these simple stories that we're getting in each episode, and I'm sure next week will be no different. If you are looking for something different though, well, have no fear, the new anime series is coming soon. They just announced today that the next series is going to start on April 14th, which I'm guessing will be 1 to 3 weeks after Aim to be a Pokemon Master comes to an end. They didn't really drop any other major news today, instead they're just going to slowly reveal more information every week for now. I'm really looking forward to this new chapter of the Pokemon anime, and I hope you all are too. Let me know what you think about all that down in the comments, and I'm always happy to continue the discussion over in my Discord server as well. I should have a lot of free time this week, so it's time for me to get back on the content grind after taking things slow for almost like 3 months now. I don't know, I haven't really been feeling that motivated lately for some reason, but I'm gonna try to change that. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.